فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلفا ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض وحمر مختلف ألوانها وغرابيب سود ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلف ألوانه كذلك
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Thanks to all of you for watching, sharing, and spending your time with us on Guide Us TV. And remember, tell everyone, stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV, first Islam channel in U.S. Stay guided with Guide Us TV.
Thanks to all.
And we're live with Talk About It. And we will be joining up with Sheikh Yusuf Estes in just a few minutes. But first, I'd like to introduce our other guest, Sister Emily. How you doing, Sister Emily?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing good. Alhamdulillah.
How are things in Iowa? Are you guys getting that storm that's been hitting the Midwest?
I haven't heard anything about it, so it's hasn't been too bad here today.
Oh, that's good. Out in Wyoming and Colorado, they were getting over 3 feet of snow, and
wow.
I know it's taking a track through Nebraska, so I didn't know if you guys were going to end up with it possibly tonight or Monday morning or something like that.
Yeah, we got a forecast for slush tomorrow.
Oh, okay. You guys are going to be lucky then. We've been.
I don't know what the rest of the week is going to be like.
Well, we've been nice here in Yuma as usual. It is sunny. We always have the sun here. It literally rains maybe 2 days a year. And by rain, I mean we get a sprinkle that lasts about 15 minutes and that's it. So we don't have too much to report on the weather front here today. What about COVID? How are things going in Iowa with the COVID vaccinations?
I got my COVID vaccine, my first one on Wednesday.
Oh, mashallah.
Yes. But I actually had a really, I'm on antibiotics for a sinus infection. So my experience, I don't know, my entire family, we all had different experiences the um, with the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. So
did anybody have a really bad reaction to it?
actually, so all three of the people in my household, my mom, myself, and my stepdad, we're all immunocompromised. So my mom has rheumatoid arthritis, so she's on an immunosuppressant, which rheumatoid arthritis is your immune system attacking your joints. So she has to be on something to suppress her immune system.
Right.
I have brain cancer, so I'm always immunosuppressed because of the portion of my brain that was removed is part that it's important for a lot of things. And then my step, what was that?
I said generally parts of your brain are pretty important.
Yeah. And then my stepdad, he has prostate cancer and he's actively on chemo. So we all had. So my stepdad got the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine, and so I'm kind of gauging my experience off of his. My mom got the Moderna one. So my stepdad, his first vaccine that he got, he was fine. He just had a little sore arm. So I was expecting that, but man, it's just like I think it was because of the antibiotic I was on. My mom was, had a little sore arm with her first shot, and then my stepdad got his second shot. It was fine. My mom, though, on her second shot, 24 hours later, she was down and out. I mean, she was pretty sick to the point where she couldn't move.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, I think it apparently that happens. Apparently 7 out of 10 people have no problem at all.
Right.
And 3 out of 10 people with the Moderna have 3 out of 10 people have like some sort of reaction that doesn't affect much, that doesn't affect much of their activities. But she must have had some sort of really rare reaction but then again, she's probably the most immunocompromised of us. So her immune system reacted really strongly.
Did it last for more than 24 hours?
Nope. After 24 hours, it was gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's,
But I tell everyone I tell that to, I'm just like, it cannot be worse than having COVID,
Right.
Because even if you have mild symptoms from COVID, like loss of taste or smell, or, just a little cough or whatever, there have been people that go and get a chest x-ray after they're recovered, and it just looks like like people that have had scarring from pneumonia. It's very people that had no symptoms at all even. So it's kind of there's this post-COVID syndrome now, and kids are even having post-COVID syndrome. They never even were noticeably infected. Who would think to get their kid tested for COVID since it didn't seem to affect kids, and I'm putting that in air quotes.
Right. Yeah, I know they're trying to open the schools and everything like that.
Yeah.
But let's talk Islam. My understanding is that Sheikh Yusuf asked us both to be on tonight because he wants to talk about things from the perspective of a convert. And one of the things that we were talking about a couple of days ago was the hijab. And I know that's not going to be our topic tonight, but since we haven't been assigned a topic yet, we might as well use that to get your perspective on it. Now, when you first came to the show, your profile picture, which unfortunately we've lost,
I can resend
it. Was you very wrapped up. What was your experience as a new convert coming to the hijab, and do you wear it now?
All right, so that picture was when I was outside and it was negative 40 degrees out, actually negative 40 degrees without the wind chill. So it was, you have that, it looks like a niqab, but I was really just wearing it to protect from frostbite because, negative 40, you can get frostbite like nothing.
Within 5 minutes.
Yeah. So, actually, my ex-husband, he did not want me to wear the hijab.
Oh, that's
So,
very interesting. More often
yeah,
than not, I've heard that it's the husband that is encouraging people to wear the hijab. What
yeah.
was what was his reasoning for him not wanting you to wear it?
He was, I don't understand why, but he wanted me to dress like a quote regular girl, like a Western, the Western or the non-Muslim way of dressing. Like he would make me dress in he would, if I didn't dress in like tight clothes and stuff like that, he would be like, well, you're so frumpy and all this stuff. And I was just like, okay. And he said he wasn't, didn't want to take me out unless I was, I don't know, unless I was dressed a certain way that he wanted me to dress. So, yeah, I'm just looking back at that now, and I've been having a lot of time to reflect.
You're in the process of a divorce now, aren't you?
Yeah, actually, they just they did an e-file to finalize it, but I haven't gotten any final papers yet. So.
Okay. Now that you are no longer living with him, are you dressing more modestly?
Well, I don't go outside, but yes, I do dress more modestly.
Was making that change something that felt natural to you, or was it a change that took a little bit of effort on your part?
I mean, throughout my entire life, I always was really uncomfortable wearing anything that showed any skin, like, because I felt like, people would stare at like anything that was showing, like if my shirt was too tight, like they would stare at my waist or my chest,
Right.
and if I had anything else showing, like I was just rather would, I don't want to, like I don't like to wear shorts, and my husband, when we went down to Morocco, he's like, oh, well, you need to wear shorts. And I'm like, I don't like to wear shorts. When have you ever seen me in shorts? And, yeah, so I've always been kind of like that.
When I came to Islam, I was always the same way. I never liked tight clothing. But I've always been a jeans and t-shirt gal.
Yeah, me too.
So when I came to Islam, I specifically went looking for clothing that I could feel comfortable in. And it's, sometimes I do wear the abaya, which is a full-length dress. But just as often, I'll wear a pair of loose jeans and a long tunic that comes down to about my knees, and it's long sleeved, and it's made out of t-shirt material, and I'll put the hijab on over that, and I'm very comfortable like that. I'm still working out how to dress comfortably in the summertime here in Yuma, because it can get up to 120 degrees, and when you're fully covered, it's stifling. I will be the first one to say it. And, alhamdulillah, I don't have to leave the house that much. But when I do have to leave the house, it's very hot. And maybe once Sheikh Yusuf comes back and we can start taking phone calls, we can hear from other sisters who have been in hot climates that want to talk about how they came to the hijab and how they deal with it in the heat. I would be very interested in hearing about that.
I mean, like in Iowa, it's weird because we go from extreme to extreme. Like we don't get up to the 120s, but we get up to the mid, maybe a little bit over 100. But it's a wet heat, so
Right.
so it's very uncomfortable in it. Like the heat index is a lot more. It's up in the 120s, But I
Right.
think down in Arizona, isn't it more of a dry heat?
It's a very dry heat. It's so dry out here, I haven't seen a mosquito since I moved to town.
Oh, you're so lucky. Yeah. As far as the headscarf goes, the headscarf of the hijab, because hijab isn't just your hair covering, right? It's
right.
the entire body.
The whole
thing. Yeah. So, unfortunately, my mom, because I'm living in her house, she does not allow me to wear it in front of her or my stepdad, but I don't see anyone else besides them.
Right.
So, but when
one thing that I did, when I first came to Islam, I came to Islam it was the month of November, 4 years ago. And I was not comfortable wearing the hijab. But what I did do was I put on a hoodie. And I put the hood on. And I tucked my hair under the hoodie and basically just made a hijab out of Western clothes. And nobody looked twice at me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what I do during the winter. But during this past year, I actually haven't gone outside that much because I hadn't been immunized. I'm only half immunized now, but because I'm so high risk with all of my medical conditions, it's kind of weird that I'm thinking now it's been like a year since I've been outside.
Now, do you have any Muslims in your area?
I not in the town I live in. Actually, I think I saw one driving in a Mercedes like down the street, but I didn't know. I was like, it was like a blink of an eye, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she had the headscarf on, the hijab, and so I was like, and she was driving, and I was like, oh my gosh, because there's only 1,500 or so people that live in this town.
Oh, that's wonderful. How close would you say the nearest masjid is?
It's in the Quad Cities, which is 20 miles away.
Oh, okay. So,
and I've been in contact with them, and they put me in with. Gave me a contact of this older sister. It's like there's no one there my age. It's like either young, really young, or matronly kind of people, like like in their like my mom's age.
Do you have any plans on going to the masjid for Ramadan?
Well, I don't know, like, because I guess I'm just thinking holy. Now I'm going to be vaccinated. I just like the vaccination opens up a whole new world for me. Like, I can't even put into words. Like I haven't been out for over a year. And the last time I was out was, to go to doctor's appointments, with my mom. So she won't allow me to wear the hijab. And I know my dedication isn't to her, but to Allah. And that's the part that is like splitting me up. But all of my doctor's appointments include my head. So I can't wear anything because I'm either getting, 30 injections into my head or having my head scanned. So
Yeah, and that's one thing, I used to live in South Dakota, so I understand the rural area that you live in. And a lot of people would say to be sure that you have a female doctor. And out in the rural areas, we don't have that option. When there's only one oncologist within a 200-mile radius, you go to that oncologist if you need to see an oncologist.
yeah. And luckily, I'm able to get I was able to get a female gynecologist.
Yeah.
Get that out there. Yeah, gynecologist. So I was able to get her instead of my family doctor, which he had prepared for it. And I'm like, no, thank you. I would rather have a woman. So
Right.
yeah.
It's definitely a challenge. And, in working around being in a rural area and being a Muslim,
Yeah. And even in the quote quad cities, if you think of Iowa as like a profile face, it's where the river turns east or west. It goes east to west. So there's Bettendorf and Davenport on the Iowa side, and then Rock Island and Moline on the Illinois side.
right.
And it's not really a metro area. They call it metro, but it's more like a rural.
It's like a really big town.
Yeah, it's like maybe I don't know how many, because it's been so long. I haven't lived here for like 15 years, but definitely not St. Louis. Definitely not Des Moines, which is where I went to med school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, when I lived in South Dakota, the nearest masjid was in Sioux Falls, and it was primarily Somalian. And I called one time to talk to the imam, and he did not speak English. And so the next closest one to me was out in what we call the Twin Cities, which is St. Paul.
Yeah, Minnesota.
In Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And so when I went and took my Shahada with Sheikh Yusuf, I had to go and drive out to just outside Minneapolis and have it done there. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've been wanting to ask you as a new Muslim in a rural area. How did you learn how to pray? Did you go to the masjid and have someone teach you, or what?
I've never been to a masjid. I did it all via apps and YouTube and checking and rechecking what the off of I would look at it on one place and then I would compare it to another, all on the internet basically. So,
and that's quite difficult because that's what I had to do as well. And I used a lot of YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And
there are a lot of apps that you can play while you're practicing,
Right. And it gets confusing because, if you're watching one video or watching one app, or for example, I got a book that teaches children how to pray.
Yeah,
and
we are
all
basically.
three of them were different because some people had just the obligatory parts of the prayer in the prayer when they were teaching it, and other people had added the sunnah parts of the prayer. And so it got very confusing when you're going to different sources and they're giving you different prayer instructions. And you're like, well, which one do I follow? It makes your head spin. And so, challenges like that, not to mention that the little things that other people that go to the masjid a lot or are born Muslim and they grow up or are exposed to hearing it all the time, like the the dua for entering a bathroom.
Yeah, I didn't figure that out until like 4 months ago. I didn't know.
Did you know
I
there's one
figured
for?
it out from.
Did you know that there's one for exiting the bathroom as well?
I think so, but I learned it because I learned it off. No, it had to have been 6 months ago. Either way, I learned it off of an Instagram ad for a potty training book for Muslim children. And that's how I learned it. But hey, it's better than nothing, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah, and I think that people that are in urban areas don't necessarily understand the challenge of a rural Muslim. And how it, we think we've got it, and just when we think we've got it down pat, something else gets thrown in.
Yep.
And, like, I've been to, I'd say, about 6 masjids by now, and every one of them I've only visited once. Not because I didn't like them, but because they were either so far away or while I was traveling with Sheikh Yusuf in Texas. And we would go to a different masjid each night. And each one had their own little traditions. I mean, there were some things that were the same between all of them. But other ones, we were in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and primarily south of Dallas and Fort Worth. And many towns had their own masjid, and many of them were built for a specific ethnic community. Everybody was welcome, but you might be in one and they might be primarily from Jordan. And then you go to another one and they're primarily from Somalia. And you go to another one and they're primarily from another country. And
that's how it was in St. Louis. There was one for Bosnians, one for,
Right. And, everybody there was wonderful, but you could tell that they had their own traditional ways of doing things. And it was very eye-opening. When you pray and you come up from sujood and you're supposed to point the finger of your right hand on the knee and wiggle it up and down. And between the different places that I went, there were some people that just pointed. There were some people that only wiggled it at the stating of the Shahada. There were some people that wiggled it during the whole thing. And I even had one lady, because I started wiggling it right after I came up from sujood, she reached over and grabbed my finger and stopped me. And I don't believe she spoke English. And she reached over and stopped me. And I immediately stopped moving my finger. And then when the Shahada started, she nudged me so that I would look over and see her wiggling her finger. And then the next one I went to, I held my finger straight, but I happened to glance over at the woman next to me and she was wiggling her finger. And so, it's the little things like that become a bit of a challenge when you're trying to learn the prayer on your own, and other things. Not to mention that sometimes when you go, people can have the best of intentions, but they can give you wrong information. Like the night that I went to take my Shahada, there was a wonderful woman who asked me if I was making wudu, and I said yes, and I didn't have my hair covered, so she was right in asking because I didn't look like any other Muslim there. And she said, make sure that you wash up to your knees. And I said, I thought we were only supposed to wash our feet. And she said, no, you wash up to your knees so that you have more light on the day of judgment. which I have since learned is false. But
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but she thought she was helping me.
I'm sure she didn't have any malicious intent, but like it must have been something she was taught, and
Exactly. And having not even taken my Shahada yet, I didn't want to correct her. A non-Muslim correcting a Muslim in the mosque, it just didn't sit well with me. So
do you see
it was.
Sheikh is making some sort of, he's saying timeout. He's making the football sign for timeout.
Oh, okay. We're going to take a break. So everybody stay tuned and stay guided with Guidus TV.
Can you imagine? It's our 10th anniversary. Guidus TV on the air for 10 years already. Wow. And we want to keep going and growing. And how you can do that? Join us. Be part of what we are doing with Recite on TV, Bridge to Faith, Simple Reminders with Abu Hafsa, all of these great programs and more coming to you 24 hours a day, no commercials, no advertising, just pure Islam with Quran every hour, with reminders throughout the day what the Hadith teaches. These programs are the only collection coming to us here in America from America, and you can be part of it. Guide US TV. Keep it on. Keep it going. Keep it growing. Stay guided with Guidus TV.
And we're back, and I'm happy to say that we are now back with Sheikh Yusuf Estes. So if it sounds like you've been stuck in the women's area of the masjid for the past half hour.
Woo-hoo! All right, Sister Kim, you did a great job, man. I've been for the last few minutes. I've been watching you girls, and you're doing a great job, mashallah. You're doing a great job. You don't need me anymore. Well, let's open up the phone lines, guys, and let's be able to let everybody talk about it with us, because definitely the subjects you brought up are something that are very real and something that are very important for all of us. So I'll put up the phone number 1-800-971-4383. Guys, gals, everybody, Muslim, non-Muslim, you're welcome to call in and we can talk about it. You choose the topic. You don't have to stay with our topic, but if you want to weigh in on that, yes, sir. I would like all of the non-Muslims to understand that none of us are claiming to be scholars. And for the Muslims, that you already know we're not. So you can call in and we can talk about a subject. And I'll limit myself to what I actually know from the Quran and the Sunnah in the Arabic, and if I don't know it, I'll just tell you that we got to wait until Saturday night. Last night we were on, but Sheikh wasn't available for us, but we do have our scholars. Anyway, so sisters, both of you, you're doing a great job. I'd like to first tell Sister Emily, Salam Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
MashaAllah. Really regret that the very first night that you're on the Zoom with us that I was late, and but I have all kinds of excuses. I can read them out to you. Would you like me to start
that's all right.
my excuses? Seriously, the biggest thing is, everybody, you got to understand about this clock setting. And I have one of those boxes that you can talk to. You can ask it what's the temperature and so on. And we have an app in there that tells us when it's about time for the Salah to come in. We make sure we follow that. Well, today it was coming an hour earlier than it was supposed to. Okay? It should always come on the same time, but it came an hour earlier, because somebody adjusted it thinking that they were doing the right thing, I guess. But that whole app all over the world was off by that hour. and it was too early. So I got to thinking, well, now wait a minute, which way we're supposed to move the clock? Wait a minute, hold on. And then it was saying that that Maghrib, I've got Ramadan on the brain right now. We're doing the programs for that. But it was saying that Maghrib is going to come in at about an hour before it's supposed to come in. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. I know we can move the clock, but you can't move the sun. So it was, they didn't realize that you don't adjust any of the numbers for that. The time is going to be exactly the same. What you adjust is, if you're going to go by the clock thing, you can adjust your clock, but you don't change the time of Maghrib or Isha or anything else. It stays the same. Anyway.
That was one problem I always had was when we changed the clocks, it always messed me up for Fajr. And I'd be half awake. One time I even hit my head on the sink because I was going down to wash my face, and I was half awake, and I bounced my head right off the sink. And that woke me up very quickly.
Did you do any damage to the sink? Oh, sorry.
I'm a bit of a blockhead, but not that much of a blockhead.
I have a plate right there, so I could probably hit anything I want.
Oh, wow. Okay. MashaAllah. Well, I did hear you girls speaking earlier about the Salah, and that there are different customs of different people. I would like to caution everybody about this and let you understand that we do have a website to get all your questions answered, really. If you want to take the time to go there, it's called searchforislam.com or shakegoogle.com. Either way, we made it kind of humorous, but either one of those is the same website. And what you can do there is just go ahead and type in the word and it is like Google, by the way. We did use those colors like Google because Google is powering this. But it only goes through our 4,000 websites. This is not open for everybody. It is just if we know who you are or what your website is, then we can put it up here. But mostly it's our own 4,000 website, 4,200, but who's counting? Anyway, 4,202, but exactly that, yeah. Anyhow. Let me show you how it works. Let's go to how to do Salat. All right. I want to know what is how to Salat. You can put do, but it won't make any difference. All right. And you see what it said? How to Salat. 30 Salat tips. Islam basics, praying in public, and Kitab as-Salah. Now, I recommend the Kitab as-Salah because this is, by the way, Kitab just means book. It's the book of Salah. And what is Salah? Sister Emily, I'm going to put you on the spot. What does Salah mean?
Well, I was watching one of the broadcasts a couple of weeks ago, and so I'm pretty sure it's not the actual prayer, it's connection. Is that right? Connecting with
All right, but
yeah.
This is a girl that pays attention and she retains it beautifully.
Hey, I'm in study mode, man.
You know how to research and you know how to find the answers. Okay, yes, this is our prayers that we make a connection with Allah to offer the prayers up. So it is not correct to translate the word Salah as prayer because it really means a connection from the word Sila. However, we are praying, so it's not wrong to say we pray 5 times a day. But if you say that Salah means prayer, no. Dua is prayer. We can make dua anywhere and we can pray anywhere just like any Christian could or a Jewish person or anybody praying to the same God. That is your prayers. However, the Salah is something that is reserved for the true believers. Now, in the case of the Catholic priests, some of the priests will lead the prayer, and the Catholic Church used to give the whole Mass with his back. The priest with his back to the people. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was for a very long time, like almost 1,000 years or something like that. But then they started changing and facing the people, and then in the 1960s they had to completely go against everything that the church had established, that they would hold on to the Latin language even though it became a dead language. But the church insisted that they wanted to keep referring to the books in Latin, like the Vulgate. By the way, do you know what the Latin Vulgate is? Who knows what that is?
I don't. I will be the first to say I don't.
Nope, I'll be the second to say I don't.
Okay, well, you know what? If you would have said Allahu Alam, that would have been the correct answer.
What?
Allahu Alim. Allahu Alam. Can you say that? Try it.
Allahu Alam?
Yes, it means Allah knows.
Oh.
Try that, Sister Kim.
Allahu Alam.
Perfect. Okay, now you have two right answers right there. Allahu Alam. Because in my classes, I always told the boys, I used to only teach the boys in the schools, but I used to tell them that if you don't know, I will count as a right answer if you will put in Arabic, Allahu Alam. That will be considered a correct answer for me because that is true. Allah knows. And if you say that, I'm good to go with that. So you can answer every single question on the test. None of them ever did that, by the way. Not one of them. I would have given them a good grade if they'd have done that, but they did not take advantage of that fact. Anyway.
I don't think it's on the multiple choice test for my medical boards.
Well, we're not used to this kind of a thing, but in Islam, it is correct to say Allahu Alam. You'll find that the real scholars, when you ask them a question, they will begin with Allahu Alam. Yes, they will. They will do that every time because they know that ultimately only Allah knows for sure. And so that's the correct answer, and that's the way we should always consider that Allah is the all-knower of everything. All right? So anyway, to go back to the subject, I was asking you, what is Vulgate? What does Vulgate mean? The Latin Vulgate is understood immediately to be the Vulgate of Jerome. Jerome is the one who wrote it out, and it's the complete Bible in Latin. But what does Vulgate mean? Guess what?
It sounds like a type of toothpaste.
Well, it's worse than that. It's from the same word.
Sounds like vulgar.
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 Vulgar. That's exactly.
Is that right? Vulgar?
Yeah. Vulgar language, because it was the common Latin at the time. It was not the, what is it called? When the high English, the high Arabic is called the what?
High Latin?
No, I forgot my English. Anybody know?
I'm afraid I don't know. Allahu Alam.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I should have said that, and I would have been right too. The classical Latin. There you go. That's what I was trying to remember. Like classical Arabic is Fusha, okay, and classical English. That would be the high standard of English is classical English, but you wouldn't expect somebody who's speaking a slang. That is, the slang is related to that word vulgar. Vulgar usually today, and it means basically somebody who is doing something sexual in a bad way, and that's the vulgar. but it just meant common. Vulgar meant common, very common. That's so beneath me. So that's how it became. Vulgar became, down.
Like a commoner, like
Yes,
how commoners would speak.
yes. So the Vulgate is not a high word. If somebody thought, oh wow, that's a beautiful, the Vulgate. No, it means vulgar, common. Alhamdulillah. Anyways, enough of all of that. Let's get back to the track. What we were talking about is the Salah. And when we go to this, I recommend that we look at this Kitab Salah, the book of prayer. Now, there we go. You can see this much better now. And this is compiled by Nathif Jama Adam. All right? And then you can click on the side over here and it will tell you what are the chapters. And you can see this is the virtues of the salat, of the prayer, the wudu, the conditions of the performance. All of this is, all you have to do is click on it and it will take you to the next things. And okay, here's the preface. And you can read through that. And this is everything that you needed to know about the salat. All right? And that was in 1991. Now you can just push it up the screen like this. You don't have to click on those particular pictures. But as you go up, you'll see the introduction. Then you'll see the virtues of the salat. And it mentions right in the beginning that it says from the Quran, the prosperous indeed are the believers who are humble in their salah or their prayers. Now, this, you would have to look at the Quran to see, was it salah or was it dua? All right? But that one is salah. Then there's a hadith here reported by Imam Bukhari that the first thing that the servant of Allah will be called for to account on the day of judgment is going to be the salat. And if it was good, then his deeds will be good. But if it's bad, then his deeds will be reported as bad. Now, I wanted to be sure that you understood that this is a detailed book. But I have something else that you can do. This is a lot easier. You can just jump on that one right there. That one is the prayer as though you see it. From the beginning to the end, as though you see it. This was a translation of Sheikh Muhammad Nasruddin al-Albani. And he is considered one of the top scholars of the last century. He died in 1999 in September, and there was the year of the death of the scholars is what they called it, because all of the greatest scholars, they passed away at that time. And anyway, this book is only 122 pages long, and it has everything you need to know translated. It does not show you all of the possibilities to say or do within the salah, but all of the basic functions are there. Everything is enough that you can have a couple of choices. And La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Every time I look at this book, I get excited because I learn something else. And this book has been published since 20 years or something like that. This is my wife's copy of it. And she graciously brought it into me just right now so that I could show you girls. But it's for everybody to see it. This, let's see. Yeah, 1993 was the first edition. It was printed in Malaysia, 1993. So I was only 2 years old as a Muslim when this came out. And it really benefited me a lot. And it's benefited so many Muslims. This is the translation. This is a translation of his book. Now, his book was published before that in Arabic, but this was the first one in English that really, really set it on fire for all of us. Man, we got excited. We were so happy to have a book that we could rely on without going through what you girls went through with the, say, the cultural, was it the cultural or tribal mentality of some of the people where they accepted something telling you to wash your legs all the way up to the knees. There's actually a hadith about that Omar radiallahu anhu was washing his legs up higher, almost to the knees, and the Prophet ﷺ told him, no, don't do that. Just wash like this. And Omar was saying this same kind of a thing. I wanted on the day of judgment to be, a testimony for me. But the Prophet ﷺ only washed up from his toes, of course, all the way up to his ankle, above the bone that sticks out on your ankle on both sides, and be sure you get that. And the reason we do it more than one time, you can do it one time if you are satisfied that you really have, in other words, immersed everything, you've covered everything with water. But if you leave a little spot now, that means that part of you is not having the wudu, and it should be. And so that's why once, twice, and by the third time you've smeared water all over yourself. So that's why we do 3 times on the hand, 3 times with the mouth and nose, 3 times with the face, 3 times with this arm, 3 times with this arm, 1 time with the head, and 1 time with the feet. Oh, actually, 3 times with the feet. 3 times with the feet. Sorry. But you don't have to do that. But now I'm going to ask you a question before your questions. My question is, do you know what I left out? I left something out that's very important.
The ears.
Ears, yeah, the ears and the back of the ears.
I didn't mean to leave that out, but yeah, with the head, you brush back and then forward, and then the ears. Yep. But I did not intentionally leave that out. I left something else out that was intentional, though. Can you tell me what it was? Most Muslims.
How about the washing of the hands at the beginning?
No, I mentioned that.
In between your toes.
Okay, yeah, that is exactly one of the things, but that's not what I meant. But yes, you can mention that because it was Abu Hanifa, if I'm not making a mistake, and he had said that was somebody asked him, what about in between the toes? He said, no, it's not necessary. Then some of the brothers who knew the hadith that had come up from Medina, Mecca, somewhere, they told him about the hadith in between the toes. And so they said that they took him aside privately. That's how you do that. And then the next time they observed that somebody asked him, and he said, yes, go between the toes. So, yeah. All of us have room to learn.
How about the beard?
Who said that?
That was me.
That was me? Me who?
Sister Kim.
Sister Kim. I knew who it was, but I wanted you to don't be like the kids. Me, and I always say, me who? Here come the Indians. Anyway, Sister Kim, you got it right. I left out the beard because almost no books talk about the beard.
Well, we don't have beards, so that wouldn't be,
Oh,
Sister Kim and I don't have beards.
you know what? I
wouldn't think of that.
Well, I guess now that I think about it, I should raise my gaze up long enough to observe girls don't have beards. All right. But why is it not in the books? Because the men are in control of the masajid all across the planet, always have been, and they're the ones instructing the people. They're the ones who are giving out the books. They're the ones that are teaching them. Why is this not a subject anymore?
I don't know.
That's a good question because I've seen, just over the years, it seems like the wearing of the beard has taken a big resurgence in Islam, especially in the West.
Yeah, well, that's only because the people of the West started tolerating beards and wearing them themselves, and so then a few Muslims picked up on that, but still a lot of Muslims, they will not grow their beard. And they don't realize that that is a part of the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, in my case, I never, I shouldn't say never. I did try it once in my belligerent days, back when the hippies were running around with beards. I said, well, let me try to do that and I'll look younger, the hippie thing. But as far as wearing the beard, I always thought, yeah, that must itch. So for me to grow the beard, it was like a big thing. And people that I knew that saw me with the beard, and they're like, what the heck, man? Why are you growing that thing? You look like a goat. And that was my own relatives saying nice things about me. They were trying to insult Islam, but they knew that wouldn't work. So they decided to pick on me. Anyway, the hadith says that the Prophet ﷺ would take like a double handful of water and put it underneath his beard and go like this through it. That's what we know. That you go through like this and like that. So you go through the water and like that. And it's not 3 times, it's just once. But, and anytime I have done this as a demonstration, and I was in Japan and did that, and I was in Saudi. I was in Saudi in the Western province. And when I did that, an Eastern province, sorry, it's not Western, it's Eastern. And when I did that, they said, right, we forgot about that. They did it. The scholars there were doing it, but they didn't teach it. But I think that, Allahu Alam, but I think that one of the reasons why it's not in the books anymore is simply because that sometimes the rulers over the Muslims are not really Muslims or not very good Muslims, and they put a limit, and they wanted all of the Muslims to shave. And that was true when the British controlled India, which is now divided up into India, Pakistan, and West Pakistan, which changed its name to Bangladesh. All of these places were so many Muslims, and the Muslims were only 25, 30%, but they controlled everything. Everything was all about Islam, getting along, working together, and so on. But now, oh my gosh, they're telling us we got to wrap it up. I'm not used to being cut off after only 30 minutes. But we're going to have to finish this another day, girls. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
How about next Sunday? Is this going to be our regular schedule?
Well, what do you think, Sister Kim? Are you for that?
I'm all up for it.
Yeah.
Sister.
Sisters Night. Sisters
Night? Well, wait a minute. What? How do I fit in with that? I got to wear a wig or what?
No. You're our advisor.
Okay. Somebody's got to push the buttons, right? All right. Yep. Anyway, so Sister Kim, tell Emily how it's done. Show her, give her the example on how we close out.
Sure thing. What you got to do is you've got to stay tuned and stay guided with Guidus TV.
With Guidus TV, watched by many, loved by all, new Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guidus TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guidus TV. Guidus TV, watched by many, loved by all, new Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guidus TV, never ads, always free.
bow to you, Allah. Oh my Allah, you are my Lord. I bow to